guys, welcome to the first THEKWENDYHOME Christmas home tour. I'm going to take you around and show you everything we did this Christmas season for 2024. Last year we actually used the same exact pre-lit greenery, but this year we decided to add hints of gold. So you see that in the star garland right here. I really like how it twinkles. And we went the extra mile and I got something called candle charms. If you don't know what it is, it kind of looks like earrings that you just shove into your candle, and I really like how it looks. But to be honest, who's going to notice? Only I do. But it brings me joy. And this year we added a lot of ribbons. I did red. Green and red looks great together. And so we brought it into the house too. So we have it on the wreath and on these small Christmas trees. So let's go in. This is our staircase. I really like it. I brought it back from 6 years ago. When we first did it, we did only brown paper snowflakes and they're actually handmade. This year we brought it back and they're white. But as you can see, some of them are very professional. That's because we did collect some from different stores. So some are from IKEA, some are actually sourced from Europe. My friend brought them back from Saustrine and Green, which is a really cool store in Copenhagen. If you ever get to visit, I would highly recommend. A lot of them are actually also homemade using white paper bags, and you can do this look yourself on a good budget. But I will say it did take a long time to put together. One, because we had to collect all these stars over the years, but two, you have to string each one individually up on the stairs. So don't look too closely because it does get kind of messy. If I were to be honest, would I do this again? Yes, but if you're not doing it for the gram, don't do it. I did snip greenery from our backyard. These are cedar. They're one of the best greeneries to use because they dry pretty well. But if you do touch it, it is crispy and it will fall apart. I feel like I'm exposing myself here. This is one of my favorite trees. I know I say that every year, but this year I think it really popped, and I think it's because of the red ribbon. So that's new, but I think almost everything else on this tree isn't. I will say having a mix of new ornaments, but also homemade or thrifted ornaments add to that very eclectic look. For example, those snowflakes, I remember distinctly that they were from Crate & Barrel from 5-6 years ago when we did a campaign with them. And that kind of started our snowflake craze, and I haven't kind of moved away from that theme ever since. The mushrooms are really cute. They're actually paper mache mushrooms that we hand painted like 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been using it every year. And we have a bit of a woodland theme going on. But I wanted to point out the little mouse because that's really such a cute little detail. And when guests come over, they always kind of take a look and try to find all the mice on the tree, and I collect one every year, so that's a fun one. And also I get them as gifts as well because people know I like them, so I love this tree for that. Let's talk about the fireplace installation. It's an installation. It was a whole ordeal. We had to go to someone's house and chop down the greenery from that place as well. These are called hops. Hops are actually used for beer. You can make beer and brew beer out of it, but we decided to decorate with them. Typically you will see this in Ireland, I believe, or even England. They would decorate with hops into a garland. So we decided to make it, when I say we, I mean really me. I decided to make it an arch over the fireplace for this display. But if you touch it or even sneeze at it, it will shed. It's kind of crazy that way. So a word of warning, if you're working with natural materials, that could be the case. I decided that I needed candlelight, but obviously that would be highly flammable. So this year we did invest in faux candles. They feel like wax. They flicker like a real candle without the flames. And I really like how it turned out. And we also added some textures with the stockings this year. This is my dream kitchen, especially during Christmas time. It makes me so happy to walk in here every day. And during the winter times, around 2 o'clock, the sunlight hits it just perfect. These windows I love. And so when we decided to decorate for Christmas, we want to frame it and bring even more attention to the windows with the garland, lights, and baubles. And you'll notice that there are stars and snowflakes because we want to bring that in from the staircase, from the Christmas trees around the window frame as well. And if you're wondering if oil splatters on these snowflakes, we don't talk about it. By the way, people ask me all the time how I store all my Christmas ornaments. The nice thing about these star and snowflake ornaments, they actually collapse into thin paper. All my star ornaments fit into one tote. I know, sounds crazy, but it really does. In the kitchen, I typically like to do something Christmassy, but still practical. So you'll notice here, I call this a vignette. This is a moment. So I like to have the same things I normally have. So you have the oil dispensers, salt and pepper grinder, but I did add a little wreath, for example, and over here, a little gingerbread cutting board, just to give it a hint of festivities. I didn't do too much anywhere else. This kind of looks the same year round, but you'll see little accents like this candle that is, I always say acorn, but this is not an acorn. This is a pine cone that I thrifted. And so something like that, hints of Christmas everywhere. And this, I gotta say, is my favorite thing this year. I got it as a souvenir. It reminds me of my travels in European like Christmas markets, and I know you can get it on Amazon for a few bucks. It makes me so happy, and you can actually change out the charms to make it seasonal. And over here we have the Concordville, I think it's called the Concordville Village. I bought it off Terrain. It's also available on Anthropology. If you buy them at this time of year, right now, like at near the end of Christmas, it's actually half off. I just want to give you a tip. And I add one every year as well. So we have a little village made out of the tin houses. You can shove lights in. It looks really cute. I need to change the battery, by the way. And if you take a sneak peek in this little corner, we have our Gus Mouse. He's actually the one that started it all. Why I actually have mouse decor everywhere during Christmas time is because of Gus. He's a little chef and he has people visiting him all the time. And we decorate his little kitchen area inside my kitchen. So it's a mini kitchen inside my regular size kitchen. I thought it was whimsical. So yeah, that's the kitchen. Let me tell you about this hutch. It's not the final piece I was envisioning for this place, but it's a great placeholder. We bought it off Facebook Marketplace for like $75 or something like that, but we had to borrow my uncle's van. I decided to turn it into a hot chocolate station, but usually you'll find stuff shoved in here during Christmas. I try to make it a little more festive with the holiday mugs. I have more, by the way. I just didn't put everything out because I don't think it'll fit. And we put garland everywhere, lights everywhere, and it's our hot chocolate station that nobody uses. And welcome to our dining room. I really like this dining room because it seats 14 people. We have a lot of parties. This year we put a tablecloth, and I will say it hides a multitude of sins if you pick a busy tablecloth like this one. Don't look too closely, but there's wine stains everywhere, but I don't mind because you can barely notice it when you really take a step back. So I like this because you can do very little to your tablescape with a tablecloth because it fills in all the space. So I didn't do much. If you notice, it's just the dining ware and maybe a few vases, but that's it. Where we do the most is over the table. I call this a floating table centerpiece, I would say. And I actually DIY'd this myself. It's made out of copper pipes. We hung garland and these lights. These lights are, I don't know what they put in it. I swear it's like Christmas crack. Like once you go with these lights, you can't go back because it's so warm toned. So I will say they are expensive. If you invest in them, be prepared to want it everywhere in your house. It's dangerous. I buy some every year. I don't even want to look at the bill, to be very honest. This year, what's different are the tea lights. So last year I wanted to add candles, but it was kind of a fire hazard. So we found the solution with these small little cups that hold the tea lights. I like it because it doesn't feel hot and nobody's gonna knock it over. They're not going to drag their sleeves over it, so no fire hazard there. So that's why I like it. It adds a little more than just the twinkle lights right there. And yeah, I think that's our tablescape. We went with gold cutlery and plain white dishes that we use every day, and I think it looks really special. Welcome to my claim to fame. This garland here is a mouthful. If you haven't heard about it, it's the viral tension shower curtain rod hack. We're working on the name. But essentially what we did was put a really, really long shower curtain. This is an 8-foot plus opening here. And what you do is you use a tension rod to hang your garland so that you don't have to drill any holes or put any command strips, because if you know, garlands are super heavy. So we wrapped it around so you kind of hide the shower curtain rod rather, and then you put the garland and you wrap it and decorate it as you wish. I put some stars in there, snowflakes. You see the theme going on. And yeah, I really like it. We have it over this doorway and another doorway that's smaller over here as well. Our living room has probably the most controversial Christmas tree that we ever did because I decided to go with crystal. However, I feel like my intentions were correct. Execution, maybe not so much, but I will say, did you know that a news article actually reached out to me to get a quote on crystals being the next big trend next year? So you heard it here first. Crystals are going to be big next year. So we did do the crystal tree. As you can see, I hung a ton of it, maybe a little too much, some would say, but I'm glad I did it. We also did some AB iridescent stars as well. We did the white stars around to frame the Christmas tree as we did the past 3 years. And this year I added the iridescent just to give it a more Gen Z pop. I know. To be honest, I don't know how I feel about it. It might not make a resurgence next year. I do like the crystal though, so happy with that. We tried to do the Cinderella trend where you have wires wrapping around the tree so that it looks like the magical twirl that Disney likes to do, especially when Cinderella and the fairy godmother changed her dress into that beautiful iridescent dress. So that was kind of the inspiration and how I interpreted it on a tree. I don't know if I got it, but you know what? That's art. Thank you so much for coming on this home tour with us. Let me know if you want to see more like this at the Kwendy home.